So welcome to this week's Saturday Sangha. Make yourself as comfortable as possible. It's always wonderful to come together in a space where we can cultivate mindfulness, deepen our practice, and connect as a supportive community. And whether this is your first Sangha or whether you've been with us before, you're welcome here just as you are. Each time we gather, we create an opportunity to pause, reflect, and be fully present with ourselves and each other. Tonight's theme is living with intention, exploring how mindfulness helps us align our actions with our values, make choices with awareness, and move through life with greater clarity and purpose. So often we move through our days on autopilot, doing things out of habit, reacting without reflection, and making choices that don't always align with what truly matters to us. Mindfulness offers us an opportunity to step out of autopilot and into intentionality, to slow down, reflect, and consciously direct our energy toward what we want to cultivate in our lives. As we begin, I would invite you to check in with yourself. How are you arriving here today? Without judgment, simply notice your thoughts, your energy, your emotions. Let's take a deep breath in together and a slow exhale. And as we move into our session, we'll carry a sense of openness and curiosity, exploring what it means to live with intention and how we can bring more mindfulness and awareness to our choices. Now let's take a few moments to fully arrive with a short grounding practice together. We'll connect with our breath, body, and awareness, helping us to settle into this space with clarity and presence. Take a deep breath in through your nose and release it slowly through your mouth. Inhale deeply, feeling the air fill your lungs, and exhale fully, letting go of any tension. With each breath, allow your body and mind to settle into this moment. Now bring your attention to your breath and notice its natural rhythm, how it flows in and out. There's no need to control it. Simply observe. Feel the cool air entering your nostrils and the warmth as it leaves. Notice how your chest or abdomen gently rises and falls with each breath. If your mind begins to wander, gently guide your attention back to your breath, using it as an anchor to the present moment. Now shift your awareness to your body and feel the points of contact, your feet on the ground, the support of the earth beneath you. Slowly scan your body from head to toe, observing any areas of tension, ease, warmth, or coolness. You're not trying to change anything, just notice what is present. If you notice tension, see if you can soften it slightly, breathing into those areas with kindness. Take a deep breath in and a slow, complete exhale. When you're ready, gently begin to move your fingers and toes. Rotate your ankles and wrists. And allow yourself to settle back into your space. As we move on to talk about living with intention means aligning our actions with what we truly value. It means moving through life with purpose rather than simply reacting to circumstances. Without intention, our days can easily become filled with distractions, obligations, and unconscious habits that don't necessarily support our well-being or our growth. Mindfulness asks us to pause and ask, what truly matters to me? Am I spending my time and energy in ways that reflect my values? How can I bring more awareness and purpose to my daily choices? By practicing mindfulness, we begin to live more deliberately, making space for what nourishes us, letting go of what no longer serves us, and creating a life that reflects our deepest intentions. So let's carry this awareness into our group discussion. If you would bend one knee at a time and bring yourself to a seated position. So we have ourselves a unique situation with only the three of us in the room today. This is Nancy, my partner, and she's also helping, co-facilitates the Sangha. And we just wanted to check in with you first and make sure that you're comfortable with it just being the three of us having a conversation, that doesn't put pressure on you to participate in any way unnecessarily. Okay, excellent. Well, Nancy, would you mind reading we have ground rules for participation. We like to know that we treat each other fairly, and would you mind reading those? Just there, you're good. You're good.
Okay, ground rules for sharing. Speak from personal experience. Use I statements to share your own thoughts, feelings, and experiences. Be mindful of time. Limit your sharing so that everyone has the opportunity to contribute. Maintain confidentiality. What is shared in this space stays in this space to ensure a safe and supportive environment. Listening is participation. You are welcome to listen without sharing. Silent presence is a valuable part of the Sangha. Okay.
So we wrote 3 questions that we typically ask to get us started with a conversation. And it's just like that, like I said, conversation started. So, okay, come on over.
I thought perhaps if you wouldn't mind helping with question 2, I'll do 1 and 3, unless you want to pick one up.
I could take one.
Okay. You want to start off then?
Okay, I'll start off.
I'll finish the last question.
All right. So the first question is about awareness of intentions. And I have 8 minutes on here, but if we go more or less, that's totally fine. And the question is, have you ever had a moment where you felt deeply aligned with your intentions, where your choices reflected your true values? And what did that experience feel like?
Have you ever
had a moment where you felt deeply aligned with your intentions, where your choices reflected your true values?
I often feel like, if I'm having a successful task or something that I'm working on, if the result is comparable to my effort and my expectation, then I feel very aligned. I personally think that I feel most aligned when I am the most aware of what the situation is. So that kind of is, it kind of goes with your question.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like if I'm not aware, I wouldn't know if I was aligned. So whenever I do notice that I'm aligned, I'm usually very aware, and everything that I'm aware of lines up and I feel aligned. But if without knowing, I wouldn't.
Yeah.
I don't know if that.
Thank you. I find myself really aligned with my values when I'm doing yoga. When I'm in the actual asana, the physical movement of yoga, and probably more so when I'm a student in a class where I don't know what's coming next than when I am a teacher and I know what's coming next, and I'm observing the students. But those are the moments when I feel like I can truly just let everything go and be right, be present in the moment. And I feel like that gives me the opportunity to be aligned with my values, because I struggle with being always present in the moment.
But do you hear the similarity between what she just said and what I said?
Yeah.
We both said you have to be present in the moment. She said she has to be present in the moment. I said I have to be fully aware of everything that's going on.
Yeah.
So we both pretty much said the exact same thing to get us to that place where we feel aligned. Now I wonder if you feel the same.
Yeah. This is the thing I haven't thought much about before. So I think my comment is going to be much more that I kind of just take this with me. Yeah, I notice it more.
Yeah.
I notice it more in my actions, because I haven't really reflected on this before.
That's kind of the whole point of the Sangha too, is it's like, oh wow, that's an interesting perspective. I hadn't really thought about that.
Right, and
Yeah.
if you try to focus and see, and perhaps you would find something new.
I think it's for me, it's easy to look back at my life and say, well, there are times where I acted outside of alignment with my values, and I knew that it felt wrong, where I either said something that or did something that didn't feel right. And so there must be times where I have moments where I'm truly in alignment with the values that I've set for myself, when I'm both speaking. If I have them, that I don't, if where I'm not, I'm holding up this card. If I must have them where I do feel in alignment with my values, if I also have them when I don't, because there is that awareness there. That's what I'm thinking.
I feel like that could be a reflective thing, where at the moment you don't realize it, but if you reflect afterwards, you can say, that was a really tough time, and I feel like nothing was aligned, or what your purpose and what you're trying to do and what obstacles, it just kind of feels like you can't get anywhere. And then at the time, you're really frustrated, and you could be blaming a multiple amount of things. But if you reflect back, you can say, well, this wasn't and that wasn't. Well, okay, well, no wonder it didn't work. And you cannot blame yourself, or it's to find a solution and break that down to help you. And then you can say, well, I personally find that when I can pinpoint what I can do to solve a problem, I no longer feel like it's a problem. One, and two, I no longer feel like I'm responsible, because now I have a solution for it. So, should we go to the second question?
Yeah, sure. Let's go on to the second question.
Okay, question 2, recognizing distractions and patterns, and this is 6 minutes. There's 2 questions here. Sorry, both of them or one?
Yeah, go ahead and read them both.
Okay. Are there areas in your life where you find yourself moving on autopilot or making choices out of habit rather than intention? And then the second question is, what tends to pull you away from mindful decision making?
Oh, so they kind of go together.
Yeah, and this feels very relevant and current in my life right now. I'm in an interesting situation at work, and I feel like I can be very candid about this because it's very public. I work for the federal government, and so right now there's a lot of stress and pressure on federal employees, and a really concerted attack by leadership in the administration to make work as miserable as possible. I mean, the goal is for employees to leave 4 to 5 minutes. And so right now, I am very much moving in autopilot on my job because I'm trying not to be, if I'm too present or I'm too tuned into it, I think it'll really bother me. Like, I have to kind of be in that autopilot, just put your head down, get things done and not focus too much. But it feels terrible for a lot of reasons, but I feel it in my body. Like, it feels very strange to be working in a role that previously I was super engaged in and super plugged into, and to be trying to create these barriers and boundaries and not moving with intention in my job, and really feeling like something is very much out of my control and it's not intentional. So I can feel that in my mind and in my body, and it's really stressful experience. So what tends to pull you away from mindful decision making in this situation is almost like a survival thing. I mean, I can't be too mindful or too aware about the reality of it because it would just make it impossible for me to do work.
Right. Wow.
If I may ask, is the department or is your department under that specific threat or under that? Okay. Yeah. So it's real for you. It's not that you're a federal worker, but you're not part of that department. Because I've heard people say that too, where they thought that they were part of that department, and then they weren't. But okay. So it's real. Yeah. Okay. Wow.
It's amazing how leadership can make such a difference. I mean, it can be direct leadership or, indirect, in your case, where it can have such a trickle down effect.
And it's strange because I do really try, in my life prior to this, in my work and in my life as a mother and my life as a friend, it's like I try to be really plugged into the present and really mindful and goal oriented, and so it's very strange to me now in this situation that I'm kind of like going in autopilot and tuning out, and I almost feel like I'm just kind of like on a skateboard, like letting it be pulled. I'm not trying to direct anything or drive anything. It's strange.
Do you have a feeling like if you invest or if you put too much energy that you're going to be even more let down? So okay, and so now you're like kind of slowly kind of reserving and pulling yourself back so that if it does happen that you won't be as devastated. Okay, and so you're consciously being unmindful.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Which is very strange because I don't
Yes.
do that.
Right, but because you
Right.
consciously don't want to know and be invested in this situation.
And it just seems that would require such effort on the opposite end. outside of those situations. That
Do you find that by removing yourself and being less aware, less attached to your job, that you relieve some tension for yourself?
I think I do. I think so, because when I was being more plugged in and following things more closely, it was really becoming overwhelming, and I was noticing I was not as present in my life with my kids and not as present, just in my body. And so I realized I need to detach myself from this, because the stuff that matters to me, I want to be able to be present for and not distracted by this chaos. So,
I mean, there's kind of a silver lining a little bit. Not that it's going. I would absolutely not want anybody to go through that feeling, but hopefully nothing happens. You're safe, but you have kind of seen what you were doing as far as being so involved with work that you weren't paying as much attention to your family. But with that thread of the work and you thinking, you know what, I can't put all this attention at work because I might lose this job. But look, I have been not as aware of my family, and so I mean, in a way, it's kind of like sometimes you get a little scared, and then you're like, oh my God, I have so many things to appreciate, and and of course this is not comparable, but you got a chance to realize that you should spend more time with your family and less time at work. But on the other side of it, I'm sure it's not an easy thing to,
for myself, no, I can relate to the not to the situation. Clearly, that is a unique situation that you're in, but to the autopilot behavior. And it varies from time to time. It can be something as benign as driving in traffic. And that's not quite benign, is it? Now that I think about it, that's where just I'm on an autopilot. It's a long commute home, and I'm not really thinking through. I'm thinking through the day and all of the stuff that I've just left at the office, and what I've got to do in front of me when I get home, like all the things that are on the checklist before bedtime, that I'll go into autopilot into doing those, and then forget about the people and all of the things that get me to the place that I want to be. I don't know if I'm describing that the right way. All the reasons that I have for not being on autopilot are the whole they're they end up receiving that unintentionally, of course, which doesn't feel good.
I was just going to say that I often find myself on autopilot doing things either I don't want to do or I'm bored of doing, and so I end up not being as involved, and that's when I feel like I'm on autopilot, which is like driving in the traffic. You're bored, you don't want to be there, right? And that's why I laughed when you said that, because I was talking about the feeling, and you were talking about actually, what's causing the feeling, which is the traffic,
right?
And you're so like you don't want to do it, so you're just like, whatever, your mind is off somewhere, and you're just And that's how I feel about being, because I feel like if I'm really excited about something, I would be so into it that I wouldn't be doing anything on autopilot. So unless, well, yeah, you know,
unless there's other circumstances that are pulling you,
exactly,
your brain,
you're
away
forced to be
from being
yeah,
intentional
right.
in the moment. Yeah. Like the stressors.
They cause you to go on autopilot because you don't want to be there and deal with it. So
should we go on to the third question?
Yeah. So the third question is, what are some small ways you can bring more mindfulness and intention into your everyday life? And some ways that we can start the conversation is, this could be through setting mindfulness intentions in the morning, pausing before making decisions, or creating space for reflection throughout the day. So how about some of the ways that we could do this every day?
From bottom line, for me, meditate every day. I'm not good about that. In some way or another, I'll be in an autopilot kind of place and feel like I'm meditating, you know, like I'm getting away with something, but it's not truly meditating in a way where I'm just focusing on the present moment. And when I do that, I feel better. My brain, it connects things better. Like the synapses actually work better. I can tell the difference in my responses to people, the way that I'm intentional about my conversations and the way that I'm present with others. It's just, I wish that I was better about setting aside time to do it more intentionally. Yeah.
So, you know, for me, I feel exactly the same way as well, where before I would, my brain would start going in the day, and I would just let it run and run and run and run and run. And I thought that was the best thing because I was getting so much work done. But what I started to realize is that my brain would burn out, and by midday I would crash and I wouldn't be able to focus. So what I started to realize with meditation is that I used to think too that, you know, I have to an hour, okay, I can sit down and meditate for an hour. But I mean, you can do that, but how many hours do you have in a day to do that, right? So I started thinking to myself, why don't I just take a mental break and do a meditation for 10-15 minutes? I would stop the middle of my day, do the meditation, and then go back to work. And I realized that I can focus better, and I give my brain a break, and I don't just run it for hours without stopping. So, and then I'm not crashing midday, and then I can't focus, I can't think, I'm frustrated because I can't do, you know, what I thought I could do in 2 minutes, it's taking me 10. So, you know, so just even 10-15 minutes of closing your eyes and, you know, bringing everything in and focusing and letting everything go, you refresh yourself really well.
Yeah.
It's hard because, like you say, you don't remember to do that. You have to remember to relax and take it easy.
Right.
Right?
I have all these reminders on my watch that are,
yeah, it's going off all the time. Ding, 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 you know, like this, that. Yeah.
Time to stand up. It's time to exercise.
I think that it's like the chicken and the egg situation, right? Like, you may not only, but you relax when you meditate, but when do you have time to meditate, to relax?
Well, with that, should we go into our closing meditation? Yeah. Yeah. Set yourself up in a comfortable position. Living with intention is an ongoing practice, one that unfolds through small, mindful choices. Here are a few ways to explore this theme throughout this week. Begin each morning by setting an intention for the day. And pause before making decisions and ask yourself, does this align with what truly matters to me? Notice where your attention goes throughout the day. Are you engaging in things that support your well-being? Or are distractions pulling you away? Reflect each evening. Did I live today in a way that aligns with my values? What small shift can I make tomorrow? As you soften your gaze or gently close your eyes, take a deep breath in and a long, slow exhale. Now bring your awareness to your heart center and imagine a warm, steady light growing here, symbolizing your deepest values, your truest intentions. With each inhale, this light grows a little brighter, filling you with clarity and purpose. Silently repeat to yourself, I live with awareness and purpose. I make choices that align with my values. I move through life with intention and presence. Now take a moment to visualize one small intentional action that you'd like to take in the coming days. Something that reflects what matters most to you. And hold this intention gently in your awareness. Breathing it in, allow it to settle into your heart. Take a deep breath in and a slow, complete exhale. When you're ready, gently wiggle your fingers and toes. Stretch if that feels good to you. Maybe rotate your ankles and wrists. As we begin to close, take a moment to reflect. What's one way you'd like to bring more intention to your life this week? Maybe it's slowing down, making more conscious choices, deepening a meaningful practice, or simply taking time to reconnect with what truly matters to you. As you're ready, bend one knee at a time. Place the soles of your feet on the mat. You can roll to one side and press yourself up to a seated position. If you'd like, feel free to join me with hands at heart center, bowing our heads in gratitude for the lineage of this practice that's come before us. And in humility, may the merits of our efforts benefit all beings everywhere. The light in me sees and honors the light in you. Namaste. Thank you. Thanks for joining us this evening. Yeah.
Really, really lovely.
I'm going to stop this.